Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Cody.
And you might notice that we have a special guest tonight, someone who's way more talented than us, but also a Big Brother fan. Want to introduce Bobby Moynihan. He's a modest dude, but I want to give him a little bit of his credit because the guy does everything. I was checking out his Wikipedia because that's where all the best sources are, right? I mean, he's an actor, comedian, director, executive producer, and currently he's got stop me if I'm wrong, Bobby, you got a podcast that you're going to tell us about. You also play the character Jaden. How do you say his last name? Quapis on Mr. Mayor.
Quapis, yeah.
And then you actually have a show on Comedy Central called Lofi. What was interesting about that is it's an animated show, but it says here that you directed, created, produced, and also are the voice of Lofi. So I was saying to Cody before we started, wow, this guy's an underachiever, huh?
Yeah. What's it like? What's that like being such an underachiever? What is it like?
I just get bored easy and can't stop moving. I just can't stop. That's the only time I stopped in like the past 10 years was your season. When I started my wife was pregnant with my daughter, and that was when I went deep into live feeds. And
oh, so you're a feedster.
I was in.
You're
deep.
what we call a feedster.
Oh yeah. I was for a long time. Now that the daughter's 4, it's a little harder. But yeah, I was for a long time. Yeah,
and that's how it happens.
I'm a pretty big Big Brother fan.
Oh, and who's that? Is that Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got mine behind me too. I don't think you can see it in the shot the way we have it framed up, but I have my guys over there. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like out of all the things that happened on Big Brother, when I saw that I was on a comic book, I was like, yo, I made it. Even if I don't win, I won.
Yeah, that's dope.
Won. And it was one of those.
I tried to find it. I still have the friendship bracelet that Paul gave me when I was
Everybody
in
got
the
a friendship
house.
bracelet.
Yeah, I got one when I was in the house. I believe he took it from oh God, what was the girl with the pacemaker?
Begins with an R. Raven. Raven.
Yes.
He took it off of her and was like, "Give it to him." And she was.
You don't get this anymore. You don't get the souvenir.
I don't need your friendship.
Yeah.
So before we get into Big Brother, because that's the thing, like for everybody here, most people are going to know who you are, but what you don't know about Bobby is he's a huge Big Brother fan. If you've watched Big Brother for a while, he was on the show as a host. It was an awesome segment. So we're going to get into how you got into Big Brother, because I always think that's an interesting story to hear from different people, different walks of life, to understand it's not just the teenagers that are watching Big Brother. It's like an eclectic group of individuals who tune in every week, which is why I think Big Brother's so popular. But real quick about Lofi, because I was looking into it, and I know you have you're a big fan of manatees. From what I was reading, Bryn, your wife, actually had a manatee that you guys adopted or sponsored. Was that true?
Yeah, you know how you can like buy a star or like name a star for like your loved one at Valentine's Day? They had a thing like where it was like you can name a manatee and adopt it, and like I think it's just like they send you a piece of paper that says his name's Steve. Like,
honey,
we adopted a manatee.
But you actually do have a love for manatees. Like this show, is that where this was derived from? Where like your love for this animal, and like where did it all come from? Because apparently Lofi's a dad, but he's also a drug dealer.
He likes to party.
He's a single father. He's a single father, and also the number one weed dealer in New York City, which is hard because he can't leave his tank, so everyone has to come to him.
Oh my God! And this is on Comedy Central.
Yeah, so if you want weed from him, it's so good, people break into the zoo to get it. It's on Comedy Central Digital. It came out a while ago. It was pretty insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. You definitely got it. You were bored. You did have some free time. You just don't like sitting around. You're like, I'm gonna make
that was like the first 2 months of the pandemic was like, well,
I need a drug dealer.
I'm gonna make a stoned manatee cartoon.
Listen, hey, whatever works. Hey, you must have did something right, because it's on Comedy Central. And then what's the name of your podcast? Where can people go and find that?
It's called Celebrity Sighting with Jonathan Biting. I play a character named Jonathan Biting. He's a 100-year-old paparazzi who hides in bushes and takes pictures. And he lives in a little balsa wood hut in Burbank now. And
classy. What a classy
insane.
guy.
Yeah. It's real crazy. It's an improvised podcast, comedy podcast. It's on Stitcher Premium.
Stitcher Premium, guys. So go check it out.
Yeah. The one thing that I want to hit on before we go into Big Brother is I was huge, like so into SNL. Like I have the Will Ferrell special. Chris Farley special. And I it was like a family thing when I was younger. And the thing that I love the most about SNL is how you guys all just break in the middle of a skit. Like you guys will like be saying it, you just start laughing. And that makes me like go into tears. It makes me laugh like twice as hard. So it's like, how much goes into each night for SNL? Because I'm sure the writing happens all during the week. You guys show up and then it's like, hey, get out there and just improv, or these are the lines, and just go with it.
Yeah, there's no improv. We're not allowed to
really?
improv because everything's timed out to the second because of the commercials.
Oh,
yeah, it's nuts. And like, yeah, there's like a thing too, like some people will go long, or you start to improvise, and people are like, don't do that, don't do it, because then your sketch gets cut at the end of the night.
Wow,
And then
yeah.
you're not happy. It's crazy. It's insane. Like it's so much work, and it's so funny. I haven't talked about it in so long. I just realized like it's almost 5 years since I left.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked about it in so long, but I started listening to Dana Carvey and David Spade's podcast about it. It's called Fly on the Wall, and it's like therapy. It's like therapy because it's they have guests every week that were on the show, and it's like a language that like only 140 people speak.
Yeah.
Like you guys know, it's like being on Big Brother. You know, like I feel like what a host must feel like at SNL about Big Brother, because I've been there. Like I've been on, like I was a huge fan of the show, and like pretty much took a sitcom on CBS just so that I could like go to the Big Brother house and see it.
Sure, I'll take it.
No,
Yeah, well, I mean, it was also paying for my house and my family and my child.
That helps.
Right, let's not get it twisted.
Like,
let's not get it twisted.
They were like, congratulations, you got a new CBS show. And I was like, great. When can I come on the lot and go to the Big Brother house? And I was there like an hour later.
That's so cool.
Like I got to,
no, it's really true
Crazy.
what you're saying. And there's no comparison, by the way, to the Big Brother fraternity. And yes, like you're with the greats like Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell. I mean, it's crazy. But I get what you're saying. Like there's a very small group of people.
But you got Frankie Grande.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It's like you're in this little group, and it's the coolest thing because as many people watch the show, they'll never truly understand like the behind when you're in that diary room, the smells, all these things, like the personal conversations you've had that don't make the episode, because there is a lot that does happen where the feeds are down or whatever, and like it's only for a small group of people. And I hear stories from like we have Tiffany from Big Brother 23 on our episode every week too. We do one with her, and she talks about some of the things that she experienced in there. And it's like when she starts talking about it, it brings me back 7 years when I was on, and I'm like, I remember that, you know, like it's therapeutic in a lot of ways, because it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity for Big Brother, at least. And like people truly don't understand how fucked up it is in there. It's like a different world.
It's crazy. I am so happy that I got to go in the house and see everything. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever walked around the ring?
I have.
Like you have, but like they don't, like if the second I saw that, I was like, oh, I love this show. I'm never doing it. If I hadn't seen that, I might have been like, you know what? I could win this. Like I enjoy it. It's fun. But like now, after knowing so much, I go like, yeah. But it's the same thing with SNL. Like, you know, like after 10 years of SNL, if you told me to go back time and start SNL again, I'd be like, all right, hold on.
No, you and I have talked about it.
Let me think about this for a minute.
You and I talked about it, and we're gonna ask you again later. But it's like, you know, a lot of people have seen you on the show when you hosted for season 19. But also, like, people want to see you play. And a lot of people thought you were playing this year and last year, actually. And I know that you and I have spoken, and we'll keep it between us. But, you know, get some of the insights and some of the things that, like, you know, the fact that there is a camera literally square on you in the bathroom while you're going. And it's like, that doesn't go off. It's a small camera.
Yeah,
the,
really
audience
stuff.
never sees it. But there's a room full of producers who can watch you take a piss and shit the whole time. You know, it takes a special person to be like, yeah, I'll sign up for that. Why not?
That's the one thing I think the celebrities really don't. I don't know if the celebrities talk to one another from the past. It's like, and I think the celebrities have it worse because I don't think they get the backyard at all, because when it's sped up, they're always building competitions in the back.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
the only
right.
thing I could speak to was on All Stars, because it was during the pandemic, like right in the heat of it. It was such an insane lockdown set, and very few people were building anything. So we had such limited backyard exposure. And when you don't have that natural light, you are dying and you lose your mind in there.
And it's the most unnatural light inside. It's and the ceiling, like, and you just hear the hum of electronics constantly. Like it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
People,
it's
those
rough.
cameras, they're constantly moving. It really is. It can drive you insane. I couldn't imagine. Well, I mean, they're only in there 30 days, but I couldn't even imagine 30 days of not having the backyard, like not being able to go out and smell fresh air. I would lose my mind. I would. They have a little area, don't they?
Yeah, I also think, like, I wonder if they're like, so seriously, like, I can get out of here for an hour.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wonder if they're like, they really go, like, I know where I know, but like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna like, go
like, yeah, where's the spot where we're not on camera?
Yeah.
Where can we go when we just don't want to be on camera? It's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Big Brother, but like more macro for a second, because I know how I got into it. You were telling us a little bit beforehand, but like, how did you discover the show Big Brother? What was your first experience to it? Why did you fall in love with it?
I mean, a kid. The first season, Chicken George. Like, I remember watching that and just being fascinated by it. Like, just being like, what?
Yeah.
Like thinking, even back then, just being like, this feels like a human experiment. Like
that
kind of thing. And like, and it was so much different back then. And it's almost like a better show. I feel like the internet changed it a lot, but like it was just so pure and weird in the beginning. And it's and I just kept watching it. I don't think I missed a season. Like, I think like maybe in college I missed a couple, but then like went back, like, and then started to get super into it. Found a couple links to the Canadian one. Started watching the Canadian one.
Oh, you're like fully.
Yeah,
in
you're
it.
like it.
You're like
deep.
completely in it.
Is your wife into it?
Yeah, I got her super into it too. Yeah, we both. I got to go to the house like a couple times. I've gotten to go a couple times. I think like 3 or 4 times I've gotten to walk around the ring on the inside, and then the one time I hosted that competition.
So I don't know this.
But
What is
each
the ring?
time so bizarre.
What is that?
The camera ring.
Is that what it is?
It's I mean, like, I don't know if this is out there. I don't know if I should, but like the
like the rail.
I can't believe you don't know.
I've
like,
never gone back.
So outside the windows, outside the like around like the house itself. I'm trying to like the house itself is
okay.
Like here. Inside a building.
Right, yeah.
So there's like all around here, there's like what looks like a black alleyway with all black, like a haunted house, like black muslin and camera tracks, like just like a roller coaster. Yep. And they're just silently going back and forth with these cameras. And like,
so that's what we're hearing.
It's fascinating. I have it written down somewhere. I should have found it. But it was the season that Josh
19.
won. That was the season that I was there. Yeah, 19. There's a shot of him. If you look on the feeds, there's a shot of him sleeping in the bed, and all of a sudden you just see my face like this. Because I got so close to the window that the reflection was showing up on camera.
Yep.
But if you look on the feeds, you can see it. Like just for a split second, you see my face. The
the feeds caught it. The feeds has caught it for sure.
Yeah,
they don't miss it.
I always. They said, will you do Celebrity Big Brother? And I've turned it down a couple times because I'm afraid to do it. But I keep begging them. I'm like, can I just like at 2:00 in the morning? Can I just walk in, get something out of the fridge, and then walk right back out? Dude,
that would be
house?
fucking hilarious.
Like just for the live feeds. Like I keep just going. Like I just want to do bits. I even pitched them. I was like, you can announce me for Celebrity Big Brother, but like in the first thing you say, like, welcome to Celebrity Big Brother. We'll give someone $10 to leave right now. And I'll be like, I'm out.
You're gonna
like I keep asking to do bits, and they're like,
you're gonna scare Amucci it. Yeah, that's what That's basically the deal. He was like, I'll let you promote me to be on the show, but that was handwritten in there that he wasn't. That was just to get people tuned in. Yeah, the ring's pretty cool, Cody. When you get out to LA, you got to check it out. Like you said, it's basically a void. There's like this neon tape, so you don't like go through the
Yeah.
walls. And it's like a track that runs even in the interior walls where those heavy cameras, it just kind of,
I hear that. Now I'm like,
slide
I'm
'em
hearing
along.
the sound where it's like, duk, 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 and all of us would be like, in the
Yep.
house would be like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy too. Like you like, or like, did you ever hear like anybody like sneeze?
Oh, dude, all the time.
Or like
The one time on All Stars.
Phones going off,
Like, you have to.
text messages. I'm like, yo, you got a text message, bro. You got a phone call. And you'd hear him laugh.
On
Yeah.
All Stars, I caught him a bunch of times. I'd be like washing my hands at the sink, and all of a sudden they'd be really like, hey, I see you over there. And then all of a sudden the curtains behind it closed. They're like, oh man. And then I hear him, I'm like, I can hear you. And it's like, it's the only entertainment you have. It's like seeing other
Dude,
people.
you go fucking
You go
nuts in there.
insane. You go
I
insane.
can't imagine.
We would mess around with them. Like I remember on 16, we would like try to peek up like in the bottom of the glass. Like we were just messing with them. But it's fun because after the show, you got to like, you know, when we had the after party, we go down, like you're literally in the house for 100 days. So you're like, you really feel like an animal at that point. Like you don't even know how to.
I've actually been to the after
Yeah,
party.
so you know how it is. So like we come downstairs. This is pre-COVID, obviously, but we come out and they basically go, "Congrats, you just won." You come downstairs and there's a party of like 200 people. But the coolest part for me was like people coming up to me and being like, "Hey, you don't know me, but like I was a camera guy, or I was the one who changed your mic packs. Like it was awesome watching you, like my family." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, that's so cool. And they're like, there's certain things that they did on the show, like certain, you know, like competitions or whatever, where they're like, hey, you know that competition you did where you had to slide down it? I made the slide or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, yo, that was awesome. All I wanted to do was talk to those people.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to see like these people are intelligent, they're smart, and like they made you what you are. They're the ones that put it all together. That was cool.
And that crew is like SNL, man. They're just building stuff, putting it up, tearing it down, throwing it back up. Like I respect that.
Dude, it's hard.
that's
I
rough
can only
work. That's
imagine.
hard work.
Yeah, I was talking
Hard work.
when I was
And
in there for All Stars. One of the producers, I was like, "What do you do?" Like it was like 4 a.m. I'm like, "When do you go home?" He goes, "I'm here at 8 p.m. and I don't go home until like 12 p.m." I'm like, "What?"
Dude, yeah. Have you ever seen the upstairs?
Yes, the control room.
Like
No.
it's
Dude,
like
what do I do? I gotta go back.
bonkers.
They like me more
Yeah,
than you.
you
They
do.
do. They do.
It's
I mean,
bonkers.
you two have hosted. That's something that I can't say that I've ever done. I'm like, thanks a lot, big brother. It's no big deal.
Take a
I
hit,
say
Cody.
we tell them the three of us go, and then we won't show up.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude,
Oh, God.
I
If
we'll
you
be like,
could do
yeah,
that for me, I'd
Bobby's gonna
appreciate
be there. Bobby's gonna
Yeah.
be there. And Cody shows up at the gate.
We just need to pitch a Big Brother after show is what we need to do.
Yes.
We talked about that. And maybe this spins off of it because we do it a little different. Like a lot of people recap it. We're just kind of weighing in on it. Like we like bringing other people on who have different perspectives because, Cody and I were on the show, but I was a fan since day one, but I haven't watched since season 2. I started watching season 10. So you've been watching way longer than me, but I always find it interesting. Like when I'll be out, I've done shows on Discovery Channel and all these things, but 100% of the time, if someone recognizes me, it's like, it could be a 70-year-old dude or a 14-year-old girl. It's always Big Brother.
Mhm.
It brings like so many groups together
Yeah.
where it's like this, and even some celebrities that watch it. Like I would never guess it that I've met where they're like, huge fan of Big Brother, man. Saw you, was great. I'm like, you watch Big Brother? But it's like, it's like the secret. It's like this hidden pleasure that nobody talks about.
Yeah. We're a cult.
A lot of the people that I know are like, yeah, I like it, but like, don't tell anybody. Like,
Right?
It's like, what do you care? It's all nonsense.
Seriously, it's like, hey, if you can say you watch The Real Housewives and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it's no worse than that. I mean,
Yeah.
at least we're trying something.
Celebrity Big Brother is super different, though. It is like, it's a completely different thing. It's like watching Seinfeld with a different cast. Like it's just like it's all these people who don't know what they're
What a
doing.
great
They
analogy.
kind of clearly did it for some cash. like it's I love like. Did you see like 2 episodes back, like the one where they had to throw the balls and hit, like so many people just forgot
Yeah.
to hit the button or were like, I have 13 seconds left, but I'm going to stick even though I don't have enough points. And it's like, they're just confused. They're actors. So they're just waiting for someone to go, where do I move? Where's my spot? Stand there. Okay. Like they're just waiting to be told what to do. Like it's fascinating.
I was dying at that. That's a great point. When I watched that competition, I was like, you're not even close. Why are you ringing in a score? You might as well put your time out. Like you ain't gonna win with a 40.
You have 13 seconds left.
I was blown away. And then, Chris Kattan was asking essentially to go home last week. I was like, I literally tweeted out, I was like, what am I watching? Like, I love it. And I just think the celebrities, they're not ready for what goes into this game. And like, people are done after 10 days. They're like, God, get me out of here.
It's an actual experiment.
It is psychologically horrible.
Like they're filming. It's a human zoo, and they're filming it. Like it really is like an insane thing, and that's why I don't know if I'll ever say yes to.
We got to keep wearing on you. I mean, and I will say this: it's not looking good, because if you didn't say yes to 30 days, how much shorter could they go?
Yeah, he ain't going.
Well, but see, that's the thing. I said this, and I mean it. If I ever do it, I'm not doing Celebrity Big Brother. I'll do regular.
Oh, you think you would do the
100 days?
100 days.
Well, yeah, because I would want to do that. I would want to do the real thing.
That would get you some. Well, I mean, I'm sure.
Rather than the celebrity one, because like the celebrity one, I feel like I could win it. Like I could sleep the whole week. And I'm not even on challenges, just based on like I understand what's happening.
Well, you kind of see it right now, right? Like, what do you take away? Like, okay, so let's go back. Celebrity Big Brother gets announced. Obviously, you're not there, unfortunately. You hear the cast. What's like your initial thoughts when you see the faces of who's going to be in? The fact that it was only 11. Like, what was your takeaway on all that? Why do you think it was only 11?
They couldn't get a lot of people during COVID. I'm guessing. Just also, yeah, from some of the people they got, like I wonder, like if they had to dig back.
Yeah, I think his money was a problem too
to get some people. I remember 2 years ago waking up to an article that said me and Caitlyn Jenner have joined the Big Brother house, and I was just like, this is gonna ruin my day. And like it was all over the place that me and Caitlyn Jenner were backing out because we didn't get enough money.
Do you love how like the stories just come out? Like they just like whoever's doing it's for clicks, and they just put anything out there. Like we were going over the list of people, and it was like Neo, and we were like, there's no way Neo is going on Celebrity Big Brother. Like no shot.
It was like 100% OJ Simpson is on this season. I remember seeing that. And also, I heard they actually asked OJ.
I believe it. I don't doubt that one bit, because honestly, as sick as it is.
It was the season with Kato. I heard they were trying to get them both in the house.
Imagine everybody's watching. It's the same reason they got Lamar on this year. Like, they're trying to bring in that audience of like the Kardashian crew, where it's like, they don't really care who's in there as long as they're going to bring an audience.
That's smart. I didn't even think of that, because they got two.
Shayna and Lamar. Yeah. Think about how big the Kardashian crew is. I mean, it's viewers upon viewers.
Crazy too.
Yeah, dude.
I feel bad for Chris Kattan. I feel like I led him into this.
Yeah, no, it's so you hear the cast. Anybody you're surprised by? Anybody you're like really excited to see when you first hear about? Where you're like, oh,
I was super excited for Kattan just because I've loved him since I was a child. Like I've met him a couple times. You know, we were both on the same television show.
Yeah, little show called SNL.
To say.
Not a big deal.
I can't, even just talking to you, I went like, that's bonkers. But I was just psyched because he's like, I just wanted to see him go mango the whole time. I wish he showed up dressed as mango. I just never stopped.
We were super pumped about Kattan, and we like literally right after they announced it, I went back, I watched Corky Romano, I watched Night at the Roxbury. I was like, I was in the zone. And it's unfortunate because I didn't watch him on Dancing with the Stars, so I didn't know like physically what condition he was in at this point. But I know he's had like, I was again doing my research. It's like he might have a neck injury from SNL, but there's like mixed reports on that. And then I'm like, you see him now, and it's like, great ringtone, I know. And then you see him now, and as soon as he walked in, I was like, man,
I'm an adult.
I'm like, he's gonna have problems in here. Not only does he not know the show, but like physically, he's not prepared for these competitions at all.
Even the sleeping conditions, like it wasn't cut out for his body. Just
that too. I snore, so I there's no way I'm going in that house. They would.
So wait, who was that? Todd Bridges that had the segment?
Yeah, no.
With the snoring, was it Todd?
Yeah. The best one ever. Who was that big dummy? The big blonde dummy who was talking in his sleep.
Big blonde dummy.
He was dating Nicole.
You're Corey.
Was super tall.
Yeah, that's my boy, Corey. Christmas Corey.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
The big dummy.
he would talk in his sleep, and he was like, he was a giant, and he was sleeping in like a roller coaster car and talking in his sleep. I was watching in like the middle of the night. It was the best. He was hilarious.
I'll tell you what,
but like that, like just like talking in your sleep, or like I can't.
Did you hear about
like,
Lamar? We won't make too much of it. Did you hear about Lamar and what happened to him in his sleep?
No,
you don't know.
Little poop.
He pooped his pants on the live feeds. Actually did it. Yeah. Like had to go take a shower.
With the clothes on.
Face, he got nothing. Even the SNL guys got nothing. He's like, where do I go with that? Where do I go?
I just feel bad. I'm like, he's had a pretty rough.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, but also I'm getting old and I get it.
Listen.
That is my worst nightmare.
I was about to go golfing.
I was like, yo, I'm evicting myself. If that happens, I'm pushing the exit button. Get me out of here. It's over for me.
Well, how do you, like, that's like, that to me is like, you shut down the house, you got to clean out the house.
Yeah.
Someone pooped.
Poor guy.
I can't believe it.
Someone pooped.
He was in there. He was in there cleaning his bed.
I gotta see that.
It's on the live feeds, man. Listen. Apparently, he put out something on his social, or his team did, or whatever, and they said like he's got IBS and he's got like lactose intolerant, and he had some things that didn't agree with him. But either way, man, that's a tough recovery. Yeah. That's something that's gonna. I don't know if you escape that. That's gonna stick with you.
You gotta accept it. Like Billy Madison, just you ain't cool unless you poop your pants.
I feel like it might be like 10th or 11th on the list of embarrassing things that's happened.
That is a good point.
You know what?
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
I think pooping the bed on national television, when you get to that point and pooping the bed on national television is like, hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's all uphill from here. It's all uphill from here.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about Celebrity Big Brother? And Cody, I don't know if you've noticed this, but they do a very good job of like. There's some stuff that's on the feeds, but like even the arguments we've heard about, like on the feeds, none of that has made any of the episodes.
No, well,
where if it happened to like us, all of it would be on there. They would be highlighting even the littlest argument. Well, I don't see any of that on the episodes
because you got to think about it in this sense.
It's interesting to
not all you.
Oh, I was going to say it's interesting how the editing has changed in the past couple. It used to be like you remember when Christine left the house and everyone booed her?
Do we remember? I still hear it in my sleep.
Like it was almost like they were kind of hoping that could happen a little bit, like for ratings. And then like now I feel like it's a little different. Now I feel like they protect people more. Like since you can ruin your life in 2 seconds on that show.
I mean, we've seen it now recently. We've seen it recently where people have come out of the house and it's like they think nothing of what's going on in there, and they come out to like getting grilled by Julie or booze, and like a switch goes off. Like,
I was there for one, and I was I saw a reaction from somebody coming out of the house and kind of seeing like not the reaction they were hoping for.
No, 19 was rough.
Received. It was a different season.
Oh,
but like. Yeah,
there was 15,
I wonder who. But like
15 was received very poorly.
Yeah, Christine was only on 16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, we talked about it in the house all the time. We were like, "Yo, I wonder if we're like, is anybody going to get booed on our season?" And then we were in there, and Christine walked out and got booed.
Yeah, Cody, it was your fault.
Yeah, that's
gonna
be
my bad.
That was
sorry.
Oh, that's fucking right.
I know.
Sorry, I just scared.
It's Cody's fault, Bobby. It's Cody's. Blame Cody.
What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? I'm 20.
I know. Sometimes I forget. Like you.
I blame them. Trust me.
There's so much Big Brother in my head.
As soon as she left,
23. It happened.
No, I said to him, I said, Cody.
I said, too. I was like, whatever.
That was your fault, bud. He was like, really? You think they're boo? I'm like, oh yeah, that was for you guys.
Whatever. It wasn't meant to be, and I knew it right off the rip.
It's your parents' fault for giving you that face.
Yeah, thanks a lot, parents.
Facts. All right. So what are you thinking about Celebrity Big Brother so far? Obviously, we've had a couple weeks. We know that Misha won the first HOH. Obviously, who won second HOH? It was Chris Kirkpatrick. We have.
Who I love.
Yeah, Chris is awesome. He's there to tell he's a super fan.
That's why I love it. He's just there.
So who's some of your favorites right now? Who do you think are in the best position to win? Who do you think actually has a chance?
Chris Kirkpatrick is great. I really like him. I like his attitude. He just seems like for somebody who was such a gigantic superstar to not be a raving lunatic and to just be like, yeah, no, I do voices on cartoons and I'm on Celebrity Big Brother. Like that's the coolest. I love that dude.
Agreed.
Minar's pretty great. Minar, right? Is that how you say it?
Mariah?
Lamar?
Is that her name?
Mariah.
Oh, Mariah.
No, Mariah. Sorry. I like Mariah just because she's a little bonkers and a little like I don't care. And she's
You might be
also
talking about
like an
Misha.
athlete who
You might be talking
cannot
about
lose.
You might be talking about Misha because
Misha.
Mariah
no,
just
the
went
ice
home.
skater.
Oh, no, that's
She just
Mariah.
went home.
Okay, yeah,
Have you
she's
seen
gone.
the she went home not this tonight.
On
She
Sunday.
went home couple episodes
On
ago.
Monday, Sunday.
Yeah,
Monday.
I haven't finished it yet. I
Yeah,
haven't
okay.
watching. I blasted through the last two tonight.
All right, so don't come for Bobby. He didn't catch up yet. But so you like Mariah. Well, guess what? You don't need to like her anymore. She's gone.
Well, yeah, I get that. I just liked her. I just liked watching her. There's no like with Celebrity Big Brother, it's like you don't pick players. You just go like I'm rooting for Lamar just because I want him to have a win in his
He needs a
in
win.
anything.
He needs a win right now.
I agree.
But everybody else is just like so. They just don't know what the
What do you think
game
about
is.
Shayna though? Shayna's impressed me honestly. I've been pleasantly
learning as
surprised
she
by
goes.
Shayna Mokler. She knows the game. She's won a veto already. She's in there strategizing with Chris Kirkpatrick a lot. Like she says she's a fan, and I believe it.
I feel like in the beginning maybe not, but now I feel like she's getting up there. I also love just watching Chris Kirkpatrick watch Misha because it's hilarious. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah. He is by far he's a big grab for them too. Like to get him on the show. Obviously he never watched Big Brother before. You know, but he seems like he's doing a couple of these shows like Dancing with the Stars, this one, but he is definitely an example of like, in my opinion, you don't have to weigh in on this, but like he was looking for a quick check. He's like, Big Brother, this is nothing. I can do this. And he goes in there
Good for him, man.
and he's like, wow, what the what did I get myself into?
Yeah, sometimes when you go in there, people are like, I don't know if it was worth it because it's rough.
But like also like how like somebody tells me, hey, you're going to get a part in a movie and we're going to give you this much money. And you're like, okay. And then you start making the movie and you're like, oh God, what have I done?
Yeah,
I did this for money. And like, I feel like that's a gigantic part of Big Brother is like, you don't know. It's literally, you don't know what to expect because it's a form of torture.
Yeah. And the thing about
like
Big Brother, it like 1 week you could be, oh man, I love this game. This is awesome. It seems like it's all going my way. And then a week later, it's like you're on the block and you feel like an outcast and nobody's really saying anything. And you're like demoralized. It's crazy.
I mean, that was SNL. That was SNL. You work 24 hours a day, 7 days straight, and the show starts, and you're like, I'm about to be a superstar. And they're like, your sketch got cut, go home. And you're like,
that's fucked up. That's rough. All right, cool. So I'll see you guys next week.
It's just, it makes you bonkers. But I feel like that's the same thing, just constantly under the pressure of wondering if the person 5 feet away from you hates you and or can hear you talking about like, it's a lot. They should just like the second you walk out of the house, they should be like, hi, this is your therapist.
They have that.
Like they should just give you a therapist immediately.
Job. They do a
Bobby,
much better job.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like, especially you being in the entertainment industry for so long, do you think there's kind of like Big Brother in a way is kind of like a microcosm for like society, not even society, but like the entertainment, like so many people will talk to your face like, hey man, love you. You're doing a great job. But in reality, they're trying to slit your throat and they're trying to take your job like behind your back. Like, do you see some of that like similarity where people are drawn to it because they're like, I know some of my colleagues are doing the same shit behind my back when I'm not around.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but like very often in my life recently, like in the past couple of years, I started going to therapy. I lost both my parents like a month apart. I started going to therapy and like the first like 2 hours of therapy, I went, life is it's just Big Brother. It's just Big Brother. Like, it's just like you make alliances, like, and it's just like you got to play like the second, and like it could end the way you want it. And it's I know it sounds so silly, but like I've gotten myself out of certain situations, not emotionally, by just going like, this person is not, I wouldn't trust this person to be in my alliance. So I am not going to work with this person. Like it sounds silly, but like, yeah, no, I use Big Brother rules in real life when like I get confused and I go like, I don't trust this person. would I give this person the veto? Like, you really
Would I
don't.
take
Like,
this person off the block?
really
Probably
is.
not. So we're not gonna. I'm not gonna work with him.
By the way, I have. You know how you can buy the veto? You can buy the veto online,
Yeah.
like in the CBS gift shop. So I wanted to put it in my pocket. I have one, and I wanted to put it in my pocket, bring it into the house, and just like leave it somewhere.
Oh, they would hate you for that.
Just leave an extra veto somewhere, and just be like, just see if somebody found. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm so glad I didn't do it, because like I probably like would have gotten arrested for like messing with a game or something.
For sure.
They don't.
But like
they
I
don't-
almost did
I'd be
it.
so
They
mad.
don't play with stuff like
You
that,
would
man.
be
They
a
take their Big
jokester.
Brother
Yeah,
serious.
I almost did it.
You go in the house
When I was hosting the show, Christmas went like this. Went, who won the Mayweather fight?
What?
Like, asked me who won the Mayweather fight really
Yeah.
quick, and I was like, "Oh, Mayweather!" Like, I answered super quick, and like they were like, "Shut up!" Like in my earpiece. I was just like,
Yup.
"Oh."
I was so
Yeah.
nervous about that. I did a similar thing to you where I actually had even, I was in there for like an hour with the house guest. And it's like, you can't mention anything. Like, they didn't even want me like hinting to like how America was perceiving certain people. Cause you know, as a host going in there, I may not even like certain house guests.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to like have someone ask me a question and be like, you're a dickhead. I'm not talking to you. But so it's like, I'm playing Big Brother again while I'm in there. And Chris Roach, I'll say his name, the producer, is like, hey, dude, you can't like make a face or anything that indicates they're looking at you and they're measuring everything you do to try to get a read on you as to how they're being perceived. Do you like them? What you say? I was stressed out.
It was hard. It was hard for you too, because but like I was a complete fanboy. So like I was like, can I come in the house banging pans like Josh? And they were like, sure, but like you have to bring the pans back out. And like they were very serious about the pans themselves. And I was like, wow. And I completely forgot them in there. But like I walked in and like got a tour of the house. I went all over. Like I was just fanboying, like, because I was in there, but I couldn't believe it. And then started to do the comp, and like, yeah, like you're just conversing in downtime. And like Kevin said something about like his stories or something, and I was like, your stories are the best, man. Everyone loves your stories. And he was like, what? And everybody else was like, what do you mean?
Yep.
And I was like, oh God, like, you know, it's like, you really can't say a word. Like everyone loves your stories. Like I could have gotten Kevin kicked out.
Yeah, because then they think he's America's
Because
favorite.
everyone would have been like, ooh, they like him,
Yes.
get him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like, you really can't say a word.
Yep.
and the people in there at that point, when you go into the game, they're like not even a human being anymore. They're just human chess pieces. Like they're all they're like animals in a cage, and you don't realize it because you're like, hey, I was just having a coffee outside, and now I'm in here. But like they are like literally their humanity is pulled from them, and
Seeing
they're just
you
like
was like insane that another human being that came into the house they could interact with, not the same people they had been interacting with for like 60 days. It's crazy. It's the
We had a
coolest
dog.
thing. We had a dog.
Remember
We
the
had
dog?
Kathy Griffin.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
we had a dog, and I thought like it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
A dog. I was like, oh my God, it's a four-legged creature that I can touch and feel, and I didn't want to let him go. And I was like, I'm a grown
so
man, like in
crazy.
tears, holding this dog.
Yeah.
I was like, this is bad. This is getting bad at this point.
Anything. Anything. What would be so like?
I remember. Oh, I was gonna say I remember being in the control room once, and it was the season that Alex Howley had to do the camping punishment.
Yep.
Where she had the camping outfit and she had the giant tent on her back.
Yeah.
And they made her set up the tent and like cook people hot dogs every time, and it was brutal. It was a brutal thing.
Yeah.
And I was in the control room, and they were like, "Yeah, it's just about to end." They were like, "Do you want to make her do it one more time?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" Like, and they were just like, you know, like, and they were like, "Press the button." So I pressed the button, and she went like,
Oh,
like, because she didn't want to do it again. And I was like, I feel like, you know that thing of like, remember there was like those tests where it was like in the 50s, it was like if you press the shock buzzer, like they would do like to see if like you would shock people. Like they did these experiments. Like I was like, I'm 100% in an experiment.
Yeah.
This
so
is
now when
bonkers.
Alex sees this, she's gonna go, "That motherfucker, he's
He
the one
did
who
that.
made
That
me do
was
it
I
again."
think I
my
told her
breaking
once.
point.
I think I told her. I felt terrible, but I think I
Yeah, you look like you really feel bad about
weirdly
it.
like I weirdly keep in touch with some of them. Like,
Yeah.
I've talked to Alex and Whistlenut and Kevin. Like a lot of those, weirdly enough, like I kept in touch.
Yeah.
Kevin sends me like messages every holiday. He's a very wonderful man.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wonderful dude. I was when I found out you were a fan and you watched our season, as a fan of yours, like, I've talked to you a couple times now. You're an awesome down to earth dude, but it's like for us, I think as like normal people, like, we're just in the real world and then we get thrown onto TV.
We're all normal people.
You're right. But it's like
you're a pretty normal guy.
I was literally writing tickets. I was writing tickets, working undercover. And then all of a sudden I have a social media account when I come out with hundreds of thousands of people follow me. I didn't even have Instagram before I went in. I have a question for you that I wanted to ask. I wrote it down.
But also one of the best to play the game. I mean, you were both top 5.
Thank
Easy.
you.
I appreciate
Thank you. Some would say we cheated, because we had these outside, like people say for me, they're like, oh, you were an undercover detective and you were playing against college kids. That's not fair. And I always say like, that's the whole point of Big Brother.
Yeah.
Because if I don't win,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing for me. I have the most to lose. If I go in there and I get voted out in the first week by these college kids, then that just goes to show you how interesting Big Brother really is. How about Kathy? I think it was Kathy. There was a couple.
Glenn.
Glenn the cop that went in?
He was a cop
first. Poor
FBI
guy.
agent. We've had FBI agents on the show.
And then 20.
He did.
Same guy. He was like the cop. The guy. He was like, I had you undercover. I'm gonna crush all these kids. And he went home week 1 too. I was like, dude, these guys.
Yeah, dude. There was an FBI agent on the show at some point. FBI agent.
They need to do a full week 1 season, a season of all people who got kicked out.
We were talking about that on All Stars. Like first evicted, redemption or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
they could do something like that. I also would love to see like a runner-up season. Like obviously Cody would be taken out of that because he came back, he won. But I'd love to see runner-up because there was so many times where it could have gone either way. Like jury management, whatever, where like Paul's a great example. The guy was in the final 2 twice.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a tough one.
But yeah, it's nuts. I feel bad for Paul. Paul won the competition when I hosted to come visit the set of the sitcom that I was on, but it got canceled before he could do it.
Oh my God. Oh, there's that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll bring him to Mr. Mayor, I guess.
Oh, that is great. What would you say is like your favorite? Because I mean, you've been watching since season 1, but what season was your like favorite? Either most entertaining or just the drama. Drama is going to be an earlier season, but what was your favorite season?
Derrick's season was pretty amazing.
Listen, Bobby, I'm going to need you to also refer to it as my season. Okay, because like I was on it.
You were on that season, and you're Corey, right?
Oh my God, that is good clip, Bobby. You just ruined him because that is going to be the clip.
You don't understand how Twitter has been waiting for that moment. I'm going to get crucified. Oh, we told you, Cody, you suck.
No. Are you kidding? For 10 years, people have been calling me Horatio Sands.
Oh my God, Derrick season. You
came back. Yeah, no, your guys' season was fantastic. There was. I usually am good with it, of knowing, but like it's gotten bad. I enjoy weird seasons. Like I really liked Zach Rants at the time, like now, just because I kind of love chaos in the house because I think I've watched it for so long that like I enjoy a wild card every once in a while.
That was him.
But the season with Devin, like the Devin episodes, like just Devin's episodes of just him losing his mind.
So basically you were a big fan of 16. Devin, Zach, Cody, we're all 16.
Corey.
But see, you guys were on it, and I've just been a fan. Mm-hmm. So I just know 100 people, and I have I know you guys were on the same season together. I was trying to be funny there, but like, I did not remember that Zach Rants was on. Yeah. Like, so you had Frankie Grande,
Frankie, we had a very bias as shit, obviously, but our season we had such an eclectic cast. We, like you said, Frankie, Zach, Devin. I think that's
It
why
was
our
a
season
great season.
We had a great season. We had so much fun that season.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the best summers of my life. Not
was
only because I
amazing.
won, but like everyone was so cool in that house. Nicole Franzel, Christine, Jocasta, Donnie.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember Donnie,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much
Donnie
so.
was on our season. We had some great cast members.
we really did.
I watched Andy Herron's season. Like
15.
I liked that season because that was 15.
I'm assuming
like,
10.
I'm trying to.
10's a big fan of Dan Giesling's first season. Everyone loves season 10.
Oh, where
Memphis.
I mean, like
Jerry.
I'm not a huge Memphis fan.
No. Okay. All right.
But like that moment where he really like Dan Giesling figuring out that thing, like that's like Big Brother highlights. That's like you know the Chris Farley Chippendale sketch
Oh, the best.
of Big Brother. Like some of those moments, like I like that. Like
Yeah.
I will literally go back and watch Frankie Grande trying to tell everybody that his sister's Ariana Grande and no one cares. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I met him at SNL. She was either musical guest or hosting, and he was there. And I was like, dude, I'm a huge Big Brother fan.
Do you remember? He was like, my sister's, you think about it, Grande. I was like, oh, Amanda Grande? And he was like,
you said Amanda Grande. It's the best. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I remember when we walked out of the room.
The one thing he didn't want to happen.
I remember we walked out of the room after that conversation. I was like, Derrick, we're still going to send him home like next week, right? Like, I know he's safe now, but like, we're not, his sister's Ariana. Like, we're not keeping him in the house, right?
I would have been like, don't tell anybody you're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was.
Your family's got
Zach
money.
went nuts. Zach went
Zach
berserk.
loved
He's
it.
like, he's donating the money. Just hand it to him. He's like crying in the DR. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I
Is he
wasn't
donating that money?
Yeah, no, it didn't change anything for me. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I left my kid. My daughter was only 18 months at the time, and I was like, I'm here for her. So even Cody, I loved. I was like, no matter what happens, I have to go home with the check because anything less than that is a failure. So Frankie, you're donating it to people overseas. I don't care. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to win. I'm going to send home everybody if I have to. So I didn't care.
It's awesome, cool that you guys still speak and that you came back and won, Cody.
Yeah, that was nice.
Which was well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Cody, are brother. That's the weirdest
Cody
thing.
deserves. Sorry, I feel like I keep interrupting. I'm
Well, we
sorry.
have a little bit of a delay. It's
Cody
fine.
deserves. I feel Cody deserves the win more than Paul.
Oh, because he went back. Yeah.
In my opinion.
I appreciate that because Paul's a
Well,
beast.
Cody was
like
undersold. Cody was majorly undersold on my season because I don't think I would have won without him. I truly believe that. Like he won
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
so
cups.
either, but I also think he would have won if you weren't on that season.
100% agree.
That's
100%. Not even a question. He was too good at the competitions. His social game was incredible, and because it was so good,
and it came
I could do
down to
whatever I
just
want.
the thing, right?
Yeah,
It just
it was
came down to like
one question. It was an extra. It was literally a overtime question because we tied, and it was who got the number closest, and he got it.
That's right.
And that was literally the defining factor between him cutting me or keeping me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cody.
And Cody, I could see by your face that affected you in no way.
What? I don't even know what we're talking about. I got lost.
I was saying by the look on your face, I could see that you were not affected by that in any way.
No,
I think you were affected more until you won, right? Is that fair to say?
I came back with a vengeance the second time because I was like, yo, everybody dogged me after 16. And I was like, everybody's going to get crushed when I go back. I was like, I'm not playing friendly. I'm like going to still be social, but I'm going to be like violently cutthroat. I'm going to have to do what I got to do to get the check. And that was the difference. I was a kid the first time. I grew up a little bit after that first time and like had a little bit of life and then saw what that money could do in an instant. And it was like, there's no way I'm going back I'm not going back for anything but a business trip. This is a business trip. I'm going back.
Yeah.
It was crazy though to play with some
and
of
that's
the
how
old
you
school.
win it though. Like
That's the truth, 100%.
Be in that mindset.
Yeah, it's you have to go in there with like you can't be focused on fame. You can't be doing it for the fans, the social media. You have to just if you know how to play the game, you got to go in there with a strategy and stick to it. Adapt when you need to, but just go in there with a plan and try to execute it as long as you can until you get hit with the twist.
Yeah.
And we Cody and I talked beforehand, and I knew. I was like, this kid's going to be a very tough beat for them to get him out. But, that's what you got to do. You got to go in there and play.
Also, do you think that there's...
It has to do it.
Do you think that there's some... with all of the twists and new there's a room now you could go into, and like all that stuff, it a little bit sometimes seems like they're steering.
So
like,
I will,
if the fans like this guy, all of a sudden this guy has a lot of great fortune, and
So-
that, I feel like the internet really changed it.
Derrick has something that he can literally speak right to that from 16. The one thing I will say is Rich Meehan and Allison Grodin are the two EPs pretty much said, no, we said it early and we never change it. Now, obviously they have to say that. And what Derrick's going to say kind of makes that seem like it may not be.
Yeah, was he talking about the
exactly what they
Donnie
do.
thing?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, so
We
I had that
talked
Team
about it
America.
before,
If you
too.
remember, if you remember, Bobby, the Team America where we got to do twist each week, and when Donnie was in trouble, Frankie and I suddenly had a challenge where if we wanted to, we could save Donnie. And the thing that people don't know, I've said it online before, but do you know the competition where it's like the black box and you go inside and you're like crawling around and you can't see what's going on inside? So I was the HOH for that comp, and we were going to throw it where we wanted to get Donnie out. So Cody, Caleb, Christine, and Donnie were in the box, and Christine was giving her bones to Cody and Caleb, even though she was on Donnie's team. Well, while I'm outside the box, we're sitting there not knowing what's going on inside. We start hearing a fucking cheer like you wouldn't imagine from behind the walls of people going, yeah, Donnie, you fucking go, buddy. And I'm like, and then they came out and it was Donnie for the W. But when they were in there, I didn't think they could do this, but over the loudspeaker, they say, Christine, stop giving your bones to the other team or whatever. So Donnie heard it. So when we came out of that box, they didn't show it in the show, but he was on to us.
Mm-hmm.
He knew. And I was like, ooh, that seems a little, he got a big bonus there. Now he knows. And
Yeah, it's interesting.
He never trusted me again after that. Rightfully so.
It's a crazy thing to produce a show.
Listen, I knew it was part of it. I knew it was part of it. That's the game. That's the show, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't owe us anything.
Yeah. Well, it's all, it's expect the unexpected, but also like you could expect it to go the same way sometimes.
Yeah.
But you, as a house guest, though, you can manipulate as well. Like people gave me shit a lot of times because I would say certain things in the DR because I knew America was watching and stuff, and I wouldn't even give everything away to the producers when they were interviewing me because I'm like, you guys are against me too. If I tell you that I might go after Donnie this week, you might throw a fucking new twist in here that doesn't allow me to. So I'm only going to tell you the sound bites that are going to give you what I think you want to hear because you're another factor for me. It's the house guest and it's the producers. I got to find a way to manipulate all of you so that this game goes in the direction I want it to go. And they said it to me afterwards, like, we could never get a read on you. You were constantly fucking throwing stupid shit at us and we took an hour to figure it out.
Play Big Brother.
I knew.
Did you both like send in a tape or did you get scouted or?
I was scouted for my modeling.
Yeah.
No.
Same.
Yeah. No, I sent in a video. I turned 30. I just had my first daughter, kind of like you. And I was like, if she gets any older when I'm like, she's talking and stuff, I'm not going to want to go. So it was like a bucket list for my 30th. I sent in a 2-minute video online. My wife gave me permission to do it. It was a one-time thing. And ironically, I got called because otherwise I would have never applied again. It was like a bucket list.
Yeah. Not me.
Wow.
I was working in the city because when I just graduated college, I was in the city constantly working bar and bat mitzvahs. I was a dancer at bar and bat mitzvahs. And I was dancing at a party and the guy was like, dude, your energy, I feel like you'd be good on this reality show. And the stigma around reality shows was like super negative. I was like, nah, I got a business degree. I was like, not really into it. And he was like, no, Big Brother, it's a little different. It's not the real world. And I was like, oh, my dad is obsessed with Big Brother. My dad's a day one guy. And so I texted my dad. I was like, Dad, somebody just asked me about Big Brother. He goes, get his information. You need to go on the show. So that's what kickstarted my whole like path to going on the show. Then I put in all my stuff. But I had a guy kind of from New York that did the casting, kind of pushing me through, helping me out a little bit, kind of keeping me in the loop of, hey, this is what they're thinking. I didn't think I was going to get on 16 because what he had told me was they view you as too young of a Jeff Schroeder. They were like, "You're not Jeff Schroeder, not Jeff Schroeder."
It is the same thing as SNL. It's the same thing. It's just like Andy Samberg is the Adam Sandler. Like it's just like we gotta cast
typecast
the show. Yeah,
and so I didn't think I was getting on because they were like, "Oh, he's like, you gotta maybe it'll be next year, but they love you. It may not be this year though." And so I was like, "Oh man, that kind of sucks." Then all of a sudden I got a call, be like, "Hey, we're gonna fly you out to LA," and I was like, "Oh wow, okay." And then it was
that fast, huh?
History. It was it was a long process. I think it started in like, what was it, D? When we both were in the city.
Dude, it was I don't even remember. 2014. I don't even remember what I ate last week.
I want to say it was like a four-month process from like when the guy saw me at the party and the interview started to when we left. 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's once you get involved, it is a lengthy process for us at least. Not for like Celebrity Big Brother, but they like vet you, the psychological test, all this crazy stuff. But I had a couple more questions for you.
Yeah,
then,
that's crazy.
Then I know you probably got to go take care. Is your daughter sleeping? She's still up?
She's out now, I think.
She's out. Lucky you.
I don't know where she is. We just threw her on the lawn.
So we consider you a celebrity. I know probably you don't like hearing that, but we consider you a celebrity. Has there been a time? I don't
mind it.
All right. It's a compliment.
It's just weird.
Have you, is there any other celebrities that you've bonded with over your love of Big Brother that we don't know about? We know there's some people like yourself, but anybody else that we should know about that's a Big Brother fan that maybe people aren't familiar with that they know they are?
I know Scott Aukerman. I don't know if you know Scott. He's pretty. He did Comedy Bang Bang. Chelsea Peretti, I know watches it.
I know Chelsea Peretti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just tell me Will Ferrell's a fan of Big Brother. That's all I want to hear.
Will Ferrell hosted the show, and I was like, "Hi," and ran away. I was like, "Yeah." No, he was super nice, but no, I did not get anywhere near Big Brother with him. Although I was thinking, isn't it insane that Will Ferrell's been on Big Brother now? He's in the opening credits.
What?
He's in Catan.
Oh, that's right. He is.
I'm like, technically, Will Ferrell's been on Big Brother. It's super weird.
Yeah.
No, he's the GOAT. Will Ferrell's like, just the fact that to think that he could have maybe, I don't know, checked out Big Brother once is a win.
Possible.
And then I only had one more question, just because we are talking Celebrity Big Brother. Knowing what you know right now, obviously we talked about, Misha winning HOH tonight on the episode. Carson and Cynthia are on the block. With the people who are remaining, who's your pick to win? Who do you think walks home with the title this year?
Wow. I don't know. It's so hard because no one knows what they're doing. I feel like Chris Kirkpatrick has the the Ian Terry of it this season, where it's like no one's really worried about him. Everyone kind of likes him. But they know he's smart, but they kind of I feel like he's kind of got I don't know.
Yeah, it's an oversight.
Everyone else just seems so silly. Like Carson is good, but I don't think the game is he's what's happening? He just wants to know what's going on. Misha's pretty good, but she's playing real hard, super hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
That was great.
I think I'm rooting for Chris Kirkpatrick just because I like his attitude in life, and I'm 90% sure he's stoned in that house. I don't know how, but his eyes are always just gigging. I think he snuck in THC pills.
Well, hey, listen. Hey, I'm not mad about your assessment because Chris Kirkpatrick's on my fantasy team, so I need him to come home with the W because my other player was Mariah, and she's gone, so she ain't gonna get me any more points. Yeah. I need her to win.
I gotta get on a Big Brother fantasy league.
You're hopping on us next time. Next time we got you.
When we
definitely.
When we do
100%.
the regular season, when the regular season comes on, it's a little bit better with 16 people,
more players.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cody, any final questions?
Yeah, I had one more.
I was rooting for Catan, but
yeah, I know. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear the spoiler, you might want to check out right now. But from what we're hearing before we came on,
I think I might have spoiled it way earlier in the episode.
I didn't. But either way, we're hearing on Twitter as we're recording this that Catan has officially exited the house, which is not a surprise to me at all. I mean,
not at all.
He was literally begging them on the live show the other night, like, please. Send me home, please. Yeah. And they were like, no. And that's the right move, by the way. You don't send home the person who wants to go home.
Yeah.
You let them quit. You get two for the price of one.
Yeah, and also, if you're going to go out Meta World Peace style and just start kicking open doors.
Seriously.
Yo.
Absolutely.
That's mad funny. All right, last question from me. Excluding Derrick and myself, you're going in the house. You have a 4-person alliance, you and 3 others.
Oh,
Past
this
house
is a good
guests.
question.
Past house guests. Which 3? Again, excluding the 2 of us because we obviously know you would pick us.
Wow.
What 3 are in your final 4 that you're riding or dying to the end of the game? And now think all the way back. 'Cause there's some good contestants from deep seasons.
This is testing you, Bobby. This is a good one. I'm just going to assume that Cody and I would have been.
I think I would have said Dr. Will a couple weeks ago, but now that he was on Book of Boba Fett, I'm like, no.
True.
He's already gotten enough. Wow. I wish I had more time to think about it. I was about to say Jocasta just for her bow tie, but
the bow ties. Class.
The bow tie is my favorite. I really enjoyed her. Wow. I think maybe Nicole Franzel.
Okay. Nicole
Good
Franzel.
pick.
I just feel like she's a good teacher. I would pick one of you guys just to teach me how to go along the way, but I also feel like if
you'd cut
she's
us.
not in my alliance anymore, I could beat her. Yeah. No. Wow.
So Nicole Franzel, you want to stick with Dr.
I wish
Will?
I had more time.
Those are good picks, though. Nicole Franzel's played 3 times. She's
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all-stars. Oh man, now I'm like angry. Now I'm gonna think can I get an hour and come back?
I'm trying. There's so many people.
Who was the poker player girl?
Vanessa.
Oh,
no,
Vanessa Russo.
No. She was like a good player, but she was pretty I feel like she had stuff that I don't have, which is that cutthroat she'll cut you, you know what I mean? I think I need a hitman.
Love that. Love that.
Gosh. Oh, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this well. I'm not. I know
those
what
are,
I need for my team.
2 picks are very good. Those are Nicole she's gone back 3 times and has gone deep every time she
won
plays.
once. Runner up second. Oh no, won once.
Yeah.
She went home early on our season in jury, but then obviously she was 3rd on All Stars too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think maybe Dan Giesling or Ian Terry. I can't figure out which.
You got to have one of them. Yeah, you got to have one of those guys. They're legends. You got to have one of those guys that they know the game better than most of the people who've ever played it, for sure.
I like that quad.
But oh, dude, now I just want
you're gonna be texting
first out season chaos season with Zach Rance, Devin, all the crazy people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I want.
Yeah. No, that's not. I mean, it's a good. I mean, you got an all-star cast there. The problem would be at Final Four, like you said, you got to beat the Dan Giesling, the Ian, the Nicole, which they're cutthroat, man.
Yeah,
they go for it. So that's the thing. You can bring them along.
If I could pick in my Final Four, then Victoria.
Exactly. It's that's the thing about it. And Big Brother, it's you want to take great players and make a great alliance, but if it actually works out, you're going to have to beat these people at the end. And that's the interesting thing about it. How long do you go before you try to cut them? Because they're ultimately going to, if you finish 4th or 16th, it's all the same. So, you got to win.
I can't believe that more people in the regular game don't treat it like Lamar Odom does, which is just it's just a game, man.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it I mean as a strategy. As a strategy to just be hey man, we're all friends. Just be the guy who's cool with everything. And then you'll just stay. I feel like Lamar's not going anywhere until he has to.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, he's probably going to win America's favorite player too, I would think.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win.
I hope
him or Chris Kattan. One of those two, because everyone loves Chris or Lamar. I think they end up pulling the dub.
I think Lamar's had a couple segments though where it's he said because he's gone through a lot in his life. And that segment where
he's a true honest guy.
That's what hooked me to him. I was like, man, I wish I would have picked him to win. Because it was cool seeing him be vulnerable and open up the way that he did. Because what he went through in his life was just with the addiction and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
It humbled him.
Yes. Yeah. It seems like he's learned a lot. I'm sure he's still learning a lot, but he seems like he's trying to push through. He's trying to come out the other side, which is admirable. Cody, do you want to be the one?
Not like all those other idiots.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Cody, you want to tell Bobby what he gets for coming on the winner's circle tonight? This is a big deal.
Yeah, this is a really big deal. You're officially a part. you're an honorary member of the Winner's Circle. You're now forever in the family. So we're going to send you the colors. We're going to ask you what size and where to send it. And you're going to be getting a Winner's Circle tee coming your way. We have short sleeve or long sleeve. You pick whatever you want. I'm very psyched about it. You pick whichever one you want, and we'll send you all the colors. But welcome to the Winner's Circle, Bobby. We really appreciate you coming on, taking the time out. It was awesome to have you on.
Thanks, guys. Anytime, man. Yeah. This was a blast.
No, we're gonna. You have to come back on. Listen, everybody watching, we appreciate Bobby being here. Go check out Mr. Mayor. Go check out Lofi. Go check out all his stuff. Support him. He's got his podcast. He's a Big Brother fan. So if you guys are Big Brother fans, we want to support people like Bobby because he's supporting us. Bobby, appreciate you joining us here on the Winner's Circle. Guys, we will see you next week.